Do you want to start using safer, more natural soaps and cleaners, but feel overwhelmed by where to start or which ingredients are actually okay? Maybe you're seeing products that claim to be gentle, natural, or clean, but you're not sure how to tell whether the ingredients really match those claims. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to walk through how bar soap and liquid soap are commonly formulated, focusing specifically on the main ingredient categories you'll see on labels. Once you understand how soap works and what different ingredients actually do, it becomes much easier to choose products you feel comfortable using on your home and on your body. Let's take a look at bar soap first. Common ingredient categories found in bar soap, why they can be harsh, and what to look for instead. Many products sold as bar soap today are not actually traditional soap. They're often detergent bars, and that means the cleansing action comes from synthetic surfactants and not from saponified oils. One of the most common ingredient categories you'll see in these bars is going to be synthetic surfactants. A simple clue when reading labels is the word sulfate. Although not all surfactants contain that exact word, many examples include ingredients like sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, sodium cocoyl isinophilate, and sodium cocoyl sulfate. These ingredients are used because they create strong foam and consistent cleansing, even in hard water. The issue isn't that they don't work, they work very well. The issue is that they're designed to remove oils very efficiently. And on skin, that can mean removing more oil than intended, especially when you have repeated daily use. Another common ingredient category found in commercial bar soaps is synthetic fragrance blends. On an ingredient label, this usually appears just as one word, like fragrance or perfume. And that single word can represent dozens of individual aromatic compounds or ingredients, many of which aren't fully disclosed. Synthetic fragrance blends are used because they're stable, they're inexpensive, and they're long lasting. But they're also one of the most common sources of skin discomfort for some people, particularly with frequent exposure. A third ingredient category you'll often see in bar soaps is artificial colorants or opacifiers. And examples of this might include FD&C dyes, ultramarines, micas, which are treated with synthetic pigments, and titanium dioxide. That's the ingredient that's commonly used to make bar soaps appear bright white. Now, these ingredients don't affect how soap cleans, they're just intended purely for appearance. So they provide a uniform color, a brightness, or a visual consistency across batches. Another common category in industrial bar soaps is fillers or bar hardening agents. Ingredients like sodium chloride, synthetic binders, or processing aids are often added to speed up the manufacturing, shorten the cure time, which is the time that is given for the water to evaporate out of the soap bar, and it also makes soap bars harder for both shipping and for storage. So while these ingredients do improve the overall efficiency, they don't ultimately improve how the soap actually functions during use. Now, one natural bar hardening agent is going to be something called sodium lactate, and that actually comes from the process of fermented sugar, and it's a byproduct from that. So now let's go ahead and look at liquid soap, which is made through a different process and often contains very different ingredients. The original liquid soap is Castile soap, and it's made through saponification using potassium hydroxide, which allows the soap to remain in liquid form rather than hardening into a bar. Because it's real soap, Castile soap naturally has a higher pH than most commercial liquid hand soaps. Castile soap does not use any surfactant blends. The cleansing action comes entirely from the soap itself. Most liquid hand soaps sold in stores, however, is not soap at all. It's detergent-based cleansers that's formulated to operate at a lower pH while remaining stable in water. To do that, rely on several ingredient categories working together. And that first category is going to be surfactants. Instead of one cleansing agent, these products often use blends. And we'll go ahead and list some of the most common blends you might see in liquid soaps on the screen. Now, each surfactant would play a different role. One could be for foam, one could be for cleansing, one could be to reduce the irritation from other ingredients, but together they would create a controlled and repeatable product. Now, this system definitely works, but it also significantly increases the formulation complexity. The next category often used in liquid detergents rather than liquid soap is going to be solubilizers. So that's things like polysorbate 20, polysorbate 80, or PEG based solubilizers. Now, these are used to keep fragrance and oils evenly suspended in water because water and oil don't mix. Without these solubilizers, the ingredients would separate and float independently. Whereas when you have traditional Castile based soap, the soap naturally emulsifies oils when it's diluted properly, so it would eliminate the need for any of these added ingredients. Another major category of ingredients in liquid cleansers is preservatives. So here is a list of example preservative ingredients that you would commonly see in liquid cleansers. Preservatives are necessary because anytime that you use water, you need a way to prevent bacteria from growing. And so the preservative creates an environment where bacteria and mold cannot grow. And to compare this to traditional Castile soap, there is no added preservatives when you look at Castile soap because it's naturally high in pH, and that on itself is able to inhibit microbial growth. That's also why dilution matters for Castile soap, because the more water that you add, the more important it is that you use that Castile soap quickly so that bacteria and mold cannot grow in that freshly added water. You'll often see chelators in liquid cleansers. Chelators are ingredients that bind materials in water, and that helps improve clarity as well as shelf stability. So common examples include EDTA or sodium phytate. So while chelators serve a functional role, they're also just another layer of complexity that's required to keep detergent-based systems stable. So traditional soap behaves differently and it doesn't rely on this same stabilization system. Another category of ingredients is thickeners. Examples include xanthan gum and carbomer, synthetic polymers, and hydroxyethyl cellulose. It's a mouthful. And these ingredients don't improve cleansing, but they're added to create that gel texture that you associate with liquid hand soap. So Castile soap does not naturally thicken in this way, and that's why the texture reflects a function. It's not a cosmetic expectation. Finally, there are fragrance stabilizers and fixatives. These help scent last longer and remain uniform in water-based formulas. And when fragrance systems are simplified or avoided, these stabilizers aren't necessary. If you want a simple reference that you can come back to, I've put together a free digital guide that summarizes the ingredient categories that we've talked about today and what many people look for instead. You can download it directly from my site. There's no products required, and you can use it as a quick label reading guide when you're shopping. So, how does provincial goods soaps differ from industrial soaps? Well, at Provincial Goods, we do not include any synthetic surfactants in any of our bar soaps. So all of the cleansing will come from saponified oils instead of any detergent ingredients. We also do not use any synthetic fragrance blends. When our soaps are scented, we use 100% natural essential oils in restrained amounts. And this keeps the ingredient list transparent rather than just using one single word, fragrance, to cover both the scent as well as any fragrance stabilizers or fixatives. When we color our soaps, we do not use any artificial dyes or opacifiers. Instead, the color in our soaps comes from clays and or botanicals. So you'll see ingredients like kaolin clay, French green clay, Brazilian yellow clay, or maybe things like annatto seed or Himalayan rhubarb. This creates beautiful, natural variation and showcases the very best that Mother Nature has to offer, combined with traditional soap making practices. When our soaps are made, we focus on cure time and we allow the soap to fully dry rather than adding in hardeners to force the performance. At Provincial Goods, we really focus on oil formulation in all of our recipes. So we have some bar soaps that are focused only on home cleaning, such as our dish bar soap. And we made sure that the oil that we use in that is great for all of the different needs that you would have with bar soap. So you want a great lather and you want great cleaning ability. So coconut oil is the perfect oil for that. But when it comes to bath and shower soap, our bar soap uses a very balanced oil formulation so that you can get that great lather as well as cleansing, but it also affects how your skin feels during and after use. And one of the other things that we do when we formulate is we include what is called a super fat. And that just means that a portion of the oil blend remains unsaponified when the soap has finished reacting. And that just affects how your skin feels once you're done using up the soap because there is that little bit of oils that has been left over and saved just to affect that skin feel. So these choices reflect a traditional approach to soap making, where the goal is both effective cleaning, but no unnecessary complexity or ingredient list. If this breakdown was helpful for you, the free guide is going to be linked below, along with all of our organic bar soaps, liquid castile soap, and other household cleaners that are made using these same principles. Whether you're buying from us or simply learning to read labels more confidently, the goal is the same: cleaning that does its job without overdoing it or introducing anything toxic. I'll continue breaking down these topics in future videos so they're easier to understand and apply. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep on learning.